What you are about to experience is a culmination of the work and vision of the West Virginia Council of Churches in collaboration with many organizations and partners throughout West Virginia. We have traveled across our beautiful state to learn more about the substance abuse crisis we are experiencing. Substance use disorder has become an epidemic in our state. West Virginia has the highest rate of overdose deaths in our nation. Without fail, everyone has a friend, a family member, a loved one, or coworker that has felt its destructiveness. It's because of this reality that the West Virginia Council of Churches has felt a call to action. Through a generous grant from the Benedum Foundation, we have been talking to people throughout West Virginia in formal listening events aimed at hearing the concerns, experiences, and stories of people affected in one way or another by the consequences of substance use disorder. The results of these conversations may surprise you. They may make you sad. They may even make you angry. But beyond that, we hope they will create a passionate call to action that will make life better for all of us in our beloved state. The goal of each listening event was to get a better picture of each community and what effects substance abuse disorder has had. So we asked the simple question, what concerns you most about substance abuse? Overall, we heard that substance use disorder is destroying the foundations of our communities. Families, parenting, security, education, and employment are just a few of the critical systems that are being eroded by this disease. Here are a few actual comments from our conversations. A couple of generations have been completely lost. Kids are parenting kids, and in many homes where the parents are addicted, the children have become the responsible ones. We don't feel safe walking down the street anymore, not even to church. Children are especially at risk because the consequences of this disorder are eroding their essential support systems. There is a great need for more prevention, treatment, and recovery resources in our community. It steals the future of our children because they don't see hope anywhere. Companies don't want to locate in our community because potential employees can't even pass a simple drug test. In the face of all this, we are overwhelmed. It's easy to get into a downward spiral and become hopeless about the situation. However, there is hope. We found that there are many people and organizations shining a light on the problem and making a positive impact. Here are just a few that we heard about. CRAFT. CRAFT stands for Community Reinforcement and Family Training. It is being offered by the Kanawha Pastoral Counseling Center and is a proactive support group in which family members and friends of addicts can learn behavioral and motivational skills for interacting with their loved ones. Celebrate Recovery is a Christian-centered program utilizing the 12 steps with accompanying scriptures and the 8 principles based on the Beatitudes to offer participants a clear path of recovery. Drug courts are designed to reduce recidivism and substance abuse among offenders and increase the likelihood of successful rehabilitation through early, continuous, and intense treatment, mandatory periodic drug testing, community supervision, and other rehabilitation services, all of which is supervised by a judicial officer. The Martinsburg Initiative is a school-centered and family-based community approach to the problem of opiate addiction and abuse. Spearheaded by the Martinsburg Police Department and Berkeley County Schools, the new partnership will include an array of community, faith-based, health, and law enforcement leaders and organizations. Substance abuse prevention coalitions are typically county-based groups of agencies, organizations, and individuals working together to reduce local substance abuse by focusing on prevention. Even with these and many other organizations working to solve the problem, it seems to be getting worse instead of better, and the statistics seem to be supporting this trend. Why is this? Well, at one event, someone said this: if you name the problem, you own it. If you own the problem, you can control it. And the drug problem may not have been named in many communities. Without fail, those that attended our listening events desperately wanted to begin naming the problem so that they might start to control it. There was a consensus in every community that more people needed to become directly involved before the substance use problem would get any better. There was an underlying hope that having one-on-one conversations, developing relationships, and providing information about the substance use issue would initiate and guide the way forward. There is so much each one of us can do. Here are some of the great ideas that we heard. Be a proactive force for change within my church regarding the perceptions and responses we have as a faith community. Give your time, talents, and resources because they are the nuts and bolts of any response. People in recovery need money, food, shelter, transportation, and support if they are to be successful. Tell your story because it may inspire confidence and action in others. Become more involved in changing defective legal, educational, and social support systems. Another lesson we learned as we traveled the state was that the response of the faith community has been less than we might have hoped. When asked what the church was doing to address the problem, the answers were often hard to hear. There was a general sense of a lack of response from the church in most of the communities we visited. How the church deals with brokenness in general and the shame associated with addiction specifically was also a focus in several of our conversations. For example, one person who was in recovery from drug addiction mentioned that they had never been accepted in any church, but that they were accepted in recovery meetings with, quote, all of the other screw-ups. This is the bad news. The good news is that our faith communities are an untapped resource that could turn the tide on this issue in West Virginia. When we asked what more the faith community could do to help, we got some great answers. Churches can be about the business of breaking down the barriers of us and them thinking, and create safe places for recovery to happen. Churches can open their doors and actively welcome people experiencing addiction. Churches can raise awareness and provide education about substance abuse, because just understanding the problem can go a long way toward wanting to help. Churches can become catalysts for the great work being done all across the state by partnering and collaborating with current initiatives in their own communities. Churches are uniquely positioned to have a positive impact on our youth and prevent substance abuse before it even begins. Churches can provide a space for recovery meetings, support groups, and educational purposes. Individual members of churches can foster one-on-one relationships with persons suffering with substance use disorder. From the first-hand experiences we heard, almost without exception, successful recovery is a result of positive personal relationships present in an addict's life. One of the most powerful stories to come out of our listening events came from a mother who found her way out of addiction and has turned her life around. She said, "I was that mother. My baby was born addicted to drugs because I was addicted." Her path to recovery began with simple encouragement from her nurse when her daughter was born. Her nurse told her repeatedly, "You can do it, don't give up." This simple action from one person helped turn around the lives of an entire family. So what's next? Where do we go from here? Well, we take action. A common theme in every community was that people were aware and concerned about substance abuse, but they didn't know what to do. So how can we help them discover their calls to action? How can we facilitate the actions of others across the state through the future initiatives of the West Virginia Council of Churches? These are the challenges that face us. The hope of a better day without the effects of substance abuse is before us, and it is up to us to make it a reality. May God direct us and bless us with perseverance as we find our way into a hopeful future.